All right, what's up, guys? We're actually in the Uber right now. We're on our way to do an interview with the Hodge twins. I've been meaning to do this interview for a while, guys. I remember a few months back they asked me to come out and do it, but it's just, I guess the timing wasn't, and we were right in the middle, I think, of like college debates and stuff like that. So what I did was, we're here in Vegas now. I've lined up like 5 or 6 different interviews because my thing is every time I come out here, I try to knock out as many interviews as I can. And it's kind of funny because, you know, everyone comes to Vegas to have fun. I'm like the only person that comes here to like just, it's always to work, always to work. I don't gamble, I don't drink. You guys know this. I don't even go to the clubs. So today what we got on tap is we're going to do the interview with the twins now, then Jake Shields after that. And then I'm going to try to do a stream as well and kind of go from there. Obviously, there's a bunch of like crazy stuff going on. By the time you guys see this, obviously there's been like explosion as far as the beef between Nick and Ben Shapiro, and there's been basically a rift in the right wing when it comes to support of Israel. And I'll talk about this a little bit more probably on the stream later tonight, but there's been a declaration of war on anyone that is critical of Israel, and the Jewish lobby is definitely starting to feel it now, and they're firing back. They had their Republican Jewish coalition a couple of days ago where they just laid into a bunch of big names in the right wing, mostly Tucker, for being critical of Israel, and they're not too happy about it. They see the walls closing in for a bunch of different reasons. I've said this before, I'll say it again, guys. In order to understand why they do the things that they do in the United States, you must understand Middle Eastern foreign policy. And I haven't seen too many people give in-depth analysis of what happened in the Middle East over the past 2 years. Besides the genocide that we saw in 4K, they've waged war on several different countries, bombed several different countries all across the Middle East, and they've used the October 7th attack as an excuse to wage war on, destabilize, and try to decapitate regimes that they do not like in the Middle East. They've pretty much been successful on all of them except for Iran, and that's the last one left. But I'm definitely going to go ahead and give a more detailed outline of this, probably during one of the streams, or hell, maybe even during this vlog if we get some time. But yeah, we're gearing up, heading over to Twins right now. Talk to you guys when we get there.
Like the whole world have flipped the script when it comes to Israel. Every country outside of the United States and Israel want to recognize Palestine as a state.
That just goes to show how powerless they are. They recognize Palestine to kind of try to get Israel to stop the starvation, right? Mm-hmm. Because they're at the time they were like, you know, the mass hunger and people were dying and everything. It looked really bad optically for them to still be supporting Israel. So they did that kind of as like, yo, you guys got to stop doing this or else we're going to recognize Palestine. Obviously, the Israelis said, fuck you, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then they recognized them anyway. So I think that was more like a political move to try to check Israel and also kind of like wash a little bit of the blood off their hands. Like, look, we recognize Palestine, even though it doesn't do shit. But I think they did it more as a slight at Israel versus actually doing it for humanitarian reasons. Does that make sense?
Right, yeah.
It was like a political move, not a humanitarian move.
Right. Wasn't genuine at all.
Past 2 years, right? Well, Israel's been fighting this fight. They kind of took their finger off the pulse of media. They were more concerned with, all right, we need to attack Gaza, attack Lebanon, attack Iran, wage this war with the 12-day war, etc. So what's kind of happened is they've been focusing more on the conflict versus controlling the media as usual.
Right.
Now that we have the ceasefire and the war in general is kind of over, even though they're still striking Gaza, now they have to basically fix the reputation that they've destroyed over the past 2 years. This is why Netanyahu's been running around doing more interviews. He did trigonometry, Tatum, PBD, Nelk, which was retarded.
You could tell all that was deliberate.
Oh, 100%, because you knew, and it's only 30 minutes, right? I'm sure they probably had to give it, they gave the questions beforehand, etc. Softball interviews,
right?
Because they understand, oh, wow, we are losing influence in the United States. We need to repair our thing. So he started doing interviews. Larry Ellison buys fucking TikTok, right? Now you can't talk about AIPAC and from the river to the sea and all this other stuff is banned, right? It's more Israel friendly. Jordana Cutler, head of relations over at Meta, they're starting to censor more now on Meta and Facebook. She used to work for Netanyahu directly. TikTok also hired a former IDF soldier, I think maybe from Unit 8200, to do the trusted safety at TikTok. Now Twitter, they changed the algorithm. Have you guys noticed more like pro-Israel stuff on your timeline? I've seen way more pro-Israel stuff. So they changed that. They started paying influencers $7,000. Netanyahu met with a bunch of them when he was here at the UN like a month ago, strategizing how they're going to combat this. So basically, the Hezbollah police are starting to gear up and they're getting ready. And now at this coalition, I look at this as more of a declaration of war on anyone that has been critical of Israel, especially on the right. And now that they are done with the conflict for the most part, they're gearing up to do a mass censorship is what I think. Because, and I think the big reason why they're doing is in order to wage the war in Iran that they want, they do need U.S. support. They can't do it themselves. So they're going to have to alter the landscape a little bit to be more favorable before they go full on again with Iran. Because I think they're going to try to hit them again either by the end of this year or sometime next year.
It's crazy, right? You can talk about literally the rap music. I shot, 7.
Confessing to crimes.
They caught guys that way.
They've literally, like, a lot of these rappers, like, they've been arrested for, confessing to straight up crimes, using lyrics in their songs.
Such dumb motherfuckers. You imagine being that dumb?
And that's fine. Not demonetized. Still there.
Tyrone.
Yeah. Like,
well, they're boosted. They're pushed. So it's not even like censored. They're being pushed by the media. They're being created. They're like, a lot of these guys aren't organic. They're being created by these producers, pushed out, hyped.
Guys like us get censored. For talking about certain topics, but these guys talk about literally killing people.
Like literally killing, raping.
Like DJ Vlad, for example, he won't have me on. Because I think, Myron's racist. So these red pill guys are bad. But it's like, dude, you've had on like mobsters that kill people. Like, and that's where we are now, where it's like political discussion on certain topics is more offensive than literally talking to career criminals that kill people.
Wild. That's what I remember having that realization, being like, wait, I'm the one that's censored and these rappers being pushed and boosted. Like, how many lives does that cost? That's probably cost a lot of fucking lives to the black culture. Like, it makes them trying to imitate these guys or looking up to these thugs, being like, oh, it's cool to go in prison. Like, how many lives does that cost? Probably tens of thousands.
Yeah, clown world, because people think that, oh, this is cool, I can do this, blah, blah, blah. It's retarded, dude.
I think it's a big part of the black crime problem. Some people disagree, but I think that's a lot of...
No, that is a big... It's cultural. No father. The father figures they do have are rappers or NBA players. So it's either you're going to be a drug trafficker, right? Because that's what's cool. Or you're going to, rise up and become a professional athlete. Well, the problem is that most everybody can't be a professional athlete. So what's the other thing? Being a criminal, because that's what's cool. Like, and black people get mad at me for saying this because they always insult me for this, but like they will go ahead and demonize someone like me that speaks proper English and says, don't be a fucking degenerate, whatever. You talk white, you ain't one of us, blah, blah. And it's like, well, okay, so you're criticizing me for speaking proper English and not being a dumbass and wearing my pants in my waist. What? It's the completely backwards culture. Completely backwards. Being a degenerate is what it is. I say things like, I don't like weed, I don't smoke weed, I don't drink. Oh, you a lame.
Yeah, you're trying to take care of yourself and be fucking healthy.
Ridiculous, dude. Well, and they promote the worst things.
Yeah, it's not just murder. They push like, oh, we're gonna drink fucking lean. What the fuck? What is that? Like the cough syrup, and that's just so terrible for you.
Yeah,
like all the drugs, the Percocet. So these kids are like, oh, take Percocet, drink lean, shoot.
Funny story for you. Future. Molly Percocet. Molly Percocet, right?
Yeah.
People don't know this. Future has been sober for a while. He stopped doing drugs a while ago, and he never went public about it.
Wow, he didn't want to get bashed for, oh, you're lame, you're sober. So instead of pushing like, hey, I decided to go sober, that should have been what he did to these kids.
He didn't. He at least he didn't come out with it publicly for a while. So he stopped doing drugs. Instead of promoting that, nope, I still need to make this music. I'm not going to do this because it'll look less credible. Whatever. Another thing, snitching, cooperating with the police, big problem.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny because 6ix9ine has been blown up off of like calling out this double standard because when he snitched, everyone came at him.
Yeah,
right?
He snitched. That's what I was gonna say.
But then Young Thug and all his other rappers are snitching too.
They all snitched too.
And he's like, well, what the fuck is this? So he's been able to call out the wild hypocrisy in the hip hop culture of this like code of not snitching when everybody is fucking snitching.
They don't have any code though, do they? Don't they all snitch each other?
They're all criminals.
Yeah, there's no fucking
It's like,
code.
there's no honor amongst thieves.
Exactly.
These guys are degenerate criminals, so they're going to do what they need to do. So it is what it is. Gunna snitched, Young Thug snitched, and they dragged Gunna for snitching too, taking the Alfred plea and, admitting that YSL is a criminal organization, a gang, which, obviously is a component for RICO. And then 6ix9ine, they ran him up the thing for snitching on these guys at the 9 Trey Bloods, but they deserved it. They fucking were banging his baby mom. They were trying to kill him. They caught him on wiretaps. They're stealing his money. Like, why the hell should he be loyal to these guys?
No, fuck that. They're stealing your money, fucking his chick, trying to fucking kill him.
Yeah, he made the smart move. But like people were saying, because we had him on our show, and I talked to him about this. I was like, bro, like, yeah, you made the smart decision. Like now you're out. And these guys are in prison.
Probably, or hard to say.
What was that?
Do they have a hit on him? You think you got to worry about these guys might try to kill him?
Oh yeah, 100%. They're gonna. Yeah, he's definitely greenlit. They're going to kill him. Yeah, but a lot of those guys went to prison for a good amount of time. So I guess he's okay now. But like, yeah, he's definitely got to be careful.
I'd be a little concerned. Or some of the dudes that are still out, when they get out, it's like.
A couple of them I think have been released now, but yeah, no, he's definitely marked for sure, which is not good.
I would definitely move somewhere totally different if I was him, because you put people to prison to kill people. That's what they do.
Yeah, he's in Florida. He's not too far from. He's somewhere
cool
from Miami. Yeah, he's cool. I don't mind him. He's probably the only rapper we've interviewed in a long time because I hate talking to them. But with him, he's like, here's the thing. And I'll give 6ix9ine credit. He's actually very smart. He's horrible at articulating himself because his vocabulary is obviously limited. But he's smart because he, you know, you don't get out of a RICO like that and be a retard. He's been able to maneuver and, you know,
serious charges on him
with serious charges, getting out of this stuff. So he might not be the best.
He didn't get killed.
Exactly. So, you know, the guy's probably triple digit IQ, at least from like being aware and situation awareness and being street smart. He just doesn't articulate himself the best, but he's definitely smarter than a lot of these other people.
Yeah. So going back to what your point, I was listening to this one professor talk about what woke culture is and where woke came from. And woke is stopping the debate, like stopping the discussion. That's essentially what it is. I'm so offended, I won't have this discussion with you. So people on the left are not going to debate. People on the right were debating with one another. A lot of people on the left.
And they were debating with the left.
Yes. Yeah. And they would, but there was not as many people on the left that wanted to debate because they would feign offensiveness or feign wokeness, or I can't believe we're having this. Think of Larry Summers losing his job at Harvard because he stated that there's more men outside one standard deviation of IQ, and that's why there's not as many women in STEM. He loses his job at Harvard because of that, simply not because anyone wants to deal with the issue on its face, but because they were offended, they were woke, and then therefore they canceled him.
Jordan Peterson, but same thing.
Exactly. So here's the problem, right? You keep doing the woke thing and you keep deplatforming them. And so now you kind of win because they can't come out with their argument, which their argument is generally, again, I think our arguments are more sound because they're more sound, but I also think our arguments are more sound because we get attacked more. I do think that because we get attacked so much that we have a bulletproof foundation for our argument. But what happens
I think my arguments are sound because they're true.
Yes, exactly.
Right? Because it's true. And when you're arguing from the truth perspective, it's hard to lose.
But you've also seen flat earthers go on and debate somebody and make them look silly, even though the earth isn't flat. It's like the skilled debater.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
You can argue positions which aren't true effectively.
Yes.
And win. Yeah. I've seen that many times. I'm not arguing that that's not the case. You're completely right about that.
Yeah.
I would just say, I think that it's an audience distinction thing. I think you're right that woke is designed not just to shut down conversation and debate, but even more important, I don't even think it's the wokies themselves who want that. They seem to actually want to engage in debate. The Twitch sphere, they want to engage in debate. The Destinies of the world, as Myron knows, they want to engage in debate.
He's one of the few.
A lot of these people do. They're terrified of their audience. So it's like a giant virtue signal. You can imagine, if you will, a priest, right, who has a Puritan parish. Maybe he wants to have a drink with his kid, but he can't because the optics are so bad, right? Yeah. Just like a celebratory, congratulations or something like this. The optics are too bad. They can't.
Andrew, that's an interesting point because, like, I've always thought to myself, like, why? Because I've always thought, like, okay, their arguments are weak. They're just scared to talk to us, right? That's why they come up like, because what do? You're a Nazi. I'm not going to talk to you.
Audience
You're a fascist. I'm not going to talk to you. Yeah. But that's a good point where they're scared of their audience too. Yes. Where even talking to someone or debating someone with a different viewpoint is so heinous to them. Like, Mehdi Hassan.
Yes.
He did the 20 verse 1. I don't debate fascists.
Yeah, that's it.
What?
Well, but what is that except a virtue signal? He's signaling to his audience, I'm on your side. I agree with you. These people are too heinous to ever be in my distinguished Mehdi Hassan presence. I'm too distinguished for people like these low-tier Nazis to come in on here and discuss the issues of our time. Their audience is making that demand. Your audience is opposite. So what Myron's audience will do is they're demanding that he engage.
Yeah.
His audience is like, get him, get that fucker, get that leftist, get that progressive, get that feminist, get that bitch.
Same
right?
Your audience
That's the whole. They're like, they want to see their world.
Conservatives want to see debates,
and they think that my worldview can destroy all others. It can for the most part, right? But Myron, your audience does too. They think that your worldview is superior, so they want to see it showcased. Yep. And you know what? If you lose, they'll even tell you that too.
Yep.
Like, hey man, you fucking lost this one, but who cares? Get right back into it.
Yeah.
Right.
Their audience does the opposite. If you watch the YouTube comments and you watch what progressive audiences do, 90% of the comments are, this is why you don't have conservatives on. This is why you can't trust these neo-Nazis.
Yes, exactly.
This is why these people are not worth your time. Stay away from these people. I hate these people. It's always, don't bring them back on. We want to come into our echo chamber where we can be a bunch of transgender lunatics and homos, right? Yeah. And we don't want any pushback because it makes us feel upsetty spaghetti. So it's like, that's the difference, I think. think, bro.
And as much as people hate Destiny, that's one thing I give him credit for is he will go into conservative hotbeds.
He loves that shit.
Like he'll do it. He's like the only progressive that will actively do it. These other guys, and I kind of got red pilled, and Andrew, you're gonna know exactly what I'm saying. Me and you both work with Tim quite a bit. When Tim Pool tries to do his culture wars, it's so hard for him to find progressives that want to come on and do debates.
We did the same thing for election night. We couldn't find a single girl in the city.
Dude.
Yeah.
Or you say they're going to come on, they want to get paid or something like that because they know that they're going to get cooked. And it's like, but like with conservatives, like they're totally cool with like sitting down and talking to progressives, but like so many of them, and that's why Destiny's so big actually. He's one of the few progressives that will sit there despite all the scandals, all the hate, everything like that. He's so big because he actively goes in and actually engages in debates with the other side.
And he wins.
Like him. And he wins.
And so the thing is like, I'm not going to take that away from the guy.
I give him credit.
Right? He does win. The thing is like
Hassan doesn't debate. Kyle Kalinske doesn't debate. The Dean Withers doesn't debate because he's a bitch. Right? Who else? Harry says none of these guys really debate.
Not just that. Parker, right? Most of the TikTokers, things like this, they don't want debates. They want low information, low IQ TikTok surfers to jump on their stream so that they can dunk on them. Professional debates? No fucking way. No way.
I think that's all like kind of exacerbated by social media because if you go back to like the 90s, let's say, right, a lot more people from both political sides were much more willing to have a conversation.
Well, that was back when Democrats were sensible.
Well, right.
Like okay, keep in mind like a progressive, back then would be considered a far right of today.
Correct. Well, that's what I mean. Is it social media that's basically bringing the divide bigger?
Oh, I see what you mean.
Or is it just people being?
That's a good question.
It's not social media. I
mean the form of media.
Yeah. Well,
because the media has changed.
Yeah. What's happened is that the original plan, the mass deplatforming that happened during the 2018 to 2019 blood sports era. This was being hosted by Warski Live. Okay. I don't know if you guys remember Warski.
I remember.
Okay. That show was fucking huge. And at that time you had the kill stream with Ethan Ralph. That shit was huge too. Okay. These guys were platforming the best of the best debaters who were out there, and they wanted the drama too. They wanted both. Okay. And what happened is it became so popular that these like normal influencers had some real sway over the MSM conversation. Guys like JF Gariepi, who now they've tried to just put in like these little tiny holes and just forget about, right?
Holy shit. I haven't seen him in forever.
But dude, he had like, if
they nuked him off,
not just nuked him, but the thing is like that guy, they were winning. Like JF will tell you, like they were winning it all. And then the great nukening happened, right? Yeah. And they just took out everybody and they did it overnight, right? It wasn't like gradual. It was, you were gone.
And when was that?
And you were deplatformed. This was 2018, 2019, and then it was leading in 2020, 2021, right? And they would do it in sections. Now there's 50 of you nuked. Now there's 100 of you nuked. Right. No explanation, no nothing, right? And so anyway, that's what happened there. That was the back, but they had a huge influence. And that was actually a threat to the MSM, who was struggling at that time for views, especially in cable networks, because podcasts were really beginning to make inroads, and they were in complete denial. You can go back and read all the articles in 2018. The podcasting fad's going to go away.
Yes.
The podcasting fad is done. People don't like it because, they don't have the same research team and they're not giving them the accurate information. Well, they got that wrong, because now come 2025, podcasters are what won elections. Yep. And how do we know? Yep. Because we have Vice President Kamala Harris. All right. Saying that a podcaster destroyed her career. And then you have the entire MSM saying that Joe Rogan made Trump's career. So the thing is just like, that was a big mistake. I agree with you that she didn't do Rogan.
Let me talk about that.
Big mistake.
He goes on Diary of a CEO. And he's not very far right, but he pushes back when she's like, well, Joe wanted things that were unreasonable. And I'm like, no, he's like, no, you messed up. Like if I was working for you, you would have gone on that show and other shows. And she says, then we found out later that he was a Trump supporter. And I'm like, what the fuck does that matter? The idea that she thought that Trump wouldn't have given her a fair shot. Again, it's what is it? It's woke. It is essentially, I am this conversation because I'm a progressive. This conversation on its face is beneath me, and therefore I cannot have it. I will not engage in your conversation.
Who's that for? Because it can't be really for her, because engaging the conversation is going to bring in people who agree with her.
Yeah.
And expand her. So it's for the existing clientele. It's all a virtue signal to the existing clientele. And that's what the 2018 blood sports era taught us.
Yeah.
And And what it taught us is if you have too much influence and we nuke you off, that works. And so progressives have been sticking with what works. As long as you're beneath them, as long as you're not on par with them, they can neo-Nazi you out of the building, right? Whether you are or you aren't, right? And almost nobody is. But you just wrong think neo-Nazi, they'll neo-Nazi you out of the building. That worked to get rid of. So they felt like they had no opposition. They didn't realize it was all building up in the background. And if you go back to Trump's original election, when they were saying the disenfranchised voter, the unspoken majority is really going to come out, the MSM scoffed and mocked them. That man doesn't exist, Myron. He's never existed. He's made up. He's fictitious. He did exist. And they were operating the backdrop, and these guys were all talking to those people, and they're all coming back. Now they're all coming back. And it's like, and there's going to be hell to pay.
And I'll tell you this too. You want to know something else? Like all those people that you mentioned, a lot of these guys were white nationalists. A lot of these guys had white identitarian viewpoints, and they got fucking banned. And then people say, Myron, why do you defend white people so much, blah, blah. Well, the reality is like, they can't speak their mind. How is it that Tariq Nasheed, Dr. Umar Johnson, all these guys run around and they're black nationalists with zero consequence? But if someone comes in and says, hey, white replacement theory is real, banned. You're a neo-Nazi, you're a white nationalist, you're evil, etc. Why is it that, every other group of people can practice nationalism and, loving their race and everything else like that? But if a white dude does it, we got to get this guy out of here as a neo-Nazi.
And this was done.
Because all those people that got banned that you mentioned, like during that era, the Nick Fuentes is, the bottom line is like, if you had any viewpoints is like with white identity as a white content creator, you were on the list and they're getting rid of you. That's why that was such a resurgence now.
What's funny is like, that wasn't even a requirement. Like there was guys who were getting nuked who actually weren't.
Less than that,
And they were just, all that they were is they had wrong think. They just had wrong think. They weren't feminist enough. They weren't this enough. Twitch politics did the purge. Yeah, true pro. Yeah, exactly. Big Christianity people were also getting banned because of their anti-abortion stances, their abolitionist stances. So it's like it was across the board. Banned. Yeah, the right was getting destroyed from the left's view, and because this works so well, the audience signaling of keep them deplatformed. That entered into the narrative, and they've been practicing that, and now it's a failure, and now it's all coming back. And it was Elon Musk. He flipped the switch.
Roughly several days ago, there was a meeting here in Vegas, actually, and I didn't know it was here, but there was the Republican Jewish Coalition meeting, right? Where many political figures on the right got together and basically declared war on anyone in the right wing that is critical of Israel. And this has been a long time coming. I hate to say I predict this as well, but I knew at some point that they were going to put their foot down and say, we're not going to allow these guys to keep criticizing Israel, because the reality is, guys, the GOP is the last safe haven for Zionists in America. Okay. It has historically always been run by them. It has historically always been owned by them, lobbied by them. And that is the last safe haven. And they're going to fight tooth and nail to preserve that. And it's one thing for the Democratic Party and the progressives and the leftists to oppose the state of Israel. It's another thing for people on the right to do so, right? At this meeting, right, they basically declared war on not just what they call anti-Semitic people on the left, but also people on the right, and they named them by names. I'm here to tell you guys that it's going to get worse from here. The big part of this broadcast, I'm here to tell you guys that I don't care if you don't like Tucker. I don't care if you don't like Candace. I don't care if you guys don't like me. I don't care if you guys don't like Nick. I don't care if you guys don't like Jake Shields. I don't care if you guys don't like Dan Bilzerian. I don't care if you guys don't like Suleiman Ahmed or any of the other Hassan Piker, Kyle Kulinski, right? Any of these guys that are, whether left wing, right wing, centered, I don't give a shit. I don't care, because I'm telling you guys, we're going to need to get together to some degree and support one another, because the censorship hammer is fucking coming. Okay. The censorship hammer is coming, and they declared war, and they're willing to utilize their power and influence to do so. Okay. And I described to you guys earlier who ran the social media companies, didn't I? Right. And I told you who bought TikTok, didn't I? There's a reason why I built all this up, so you guys understand who really runs shit, who really can censor shit, and how when it comes to Israeli national security, that takes precedence over American national security. TikTok is just one example. There's many others, and it would take forever for me to go through it on this broadcast. But I need you guys to get behind anyone that's critical of Israel for the time being. We need to have temporary alliances, whether you like them or not, because they declared war on us. And not only did this happen at the Republican Jewish Coalition, and when I say war, I don't mean it from a violent sense. I mean as in, we need to put the truth out there and fight back against this and use our voice. Because here's the thing I also want to say. I condemn any type of violence because that's what they want. Oh man, do you guys know how much they would love it for people to say, "Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and lead a violent revolution"? No, we don't fucking do that because we have the truth on our side. When you have the truth on your side, the tongue is more powerful than the gun. When you have the truth on your side, the tongue is more powerful than the sword. We don't need fucking violence at all. We use our voice, we use our platforms, we tell the truth, and that's all you need. And that's why they're freaking out. If we weren't telling the truth, they wouldn't fucking care. You guys get it? If we were lying, they wouldn't fucking care. Okay? We got a little bit of freedom of speech. And what did we do? We broke that containment and we fucking kicked the door down. And now the genie's out the bottle. Israel committed a genocide. We saw it in 4K, despite them trying to lie to us to say that they're not killing these people and starving them. That was the beginning. We watched them run operations and kill a bunch of people all across the Middle East. Now we're connecting the dots with 9/11. Now we're connecting the dots with JFK. All the atrocities have been going on for fucking decades. Now people are finally seeing it. They're not censoring us because we're lying, or they're not calling to censor us because we're lying. They're calling to censor us because we're telling the fucking truth. And we're going to continue to tell the truth, and we're not going to use violence because that's precisely what they want. All right, guys, we're here in Vegas, as you guys can tell from the background. We're here at the Circa, which is like in old Vegas or whatever. And we got invited to like this, like a gun tuber event. We're hanging out. You can hear the country music and shit. They went out and they shot the range earlier, but we had to do stuff like film and get stuff, everything else like that. We just literally got on a stream, came here. There's a couple of YouTubers that we met. Network with some more guys, then we'll get going because we can't be out too late. We got DC tomorrow. We're gonna go on with Tim Pool. So the takeover begins, my friends. We're able to dabble in different niches because of the diversity. So make some connections, see what happens. We'll see. We just got here. Hopefully they're not too drunk and we can have some conversation. Everybody here is drinking and it's an open bar. So we'll see what happens. No promises.
The airport blues headed to DC.
Despite us being shadow banned, look, shadow banned.
So limit to reach.
And look at how much views we're still pulling. 60 million.
It's going crazy.
And that's with us being shadow banned. It's like our 10th account.
Yeah.
And we're still fucking, bro. Like, the reality is, these motherfuckers didn't censor us, bro. Dude, it'd be fucking nuts. Like, that's why like all the people that talk shit like, oh, French very irrelevant, or all this other bullshit like, oh, you're demonetized, whatever. Bro, could you imagine if we weren't censored? We weren't demonetized, if we didn't lose, like I lost like 10 Instagram accounts, if we lose our Facebook accounts, if I wasn't banned on Twitter for years. If you saw, I've had my Twitter for 2 years. Our anniversary was yesterday. And we're at 360-something thousand followers in 2 years, just by being myself.
Yeah.
That's the beauty. It's like, I don't have to fake it like for anything. It's just, that's really what I think. All right, we're on our way, guys, to the event right now. Had a quick workout, 6 sets. High intensity, so get a lot of amount of volume in a quick period of time. Efficient, full body, and then bam, now we're heading over. Yeah, we're just gonna go over there and cook. It's gonna be a good time. Oh yeah. Okay, so you dated Trump supporter right now, and it's she likes him from a policy perspective, not a personal perspective. If you're okay with her liking the policy, then I guess you might not hate the policy so much. So what's your real grievance with Trump?
I respect people that have differences of opinions. I don't respect people that believe lies or think the 2020 election was stolen or believe everything that comes up. We got some cultists here. We got some insurrectionists in the crowd. So
I talk with a lot of young people, and I know one of their biggest concerns while dating somebody is their body count. Can we go down the line and say how many bodies is 2 bodies for me to want to date the opposite sex? Or
I feel like when you get over a certain age, it doesn't matter because you're a if that's what you think about.
Okay, so no cap.
I'm almost 40 years old. If you're worried about how many people your fucking partner slept with, you're insecure.
Okay, so. No cap.
Yeah, I don't really care how many people somebody has slept with. What I care about is, what's inside and how they treat me.
Yeah.
So I mean,
basically, if your partner or somebody who you were interested in slept with, ridiculous.
Obviously, if somebody slept with 1,000 guys, I'd have a lot of questions for her.
Okay,
that would be a little.
What is it?
But you'd still be open to pursuing.
For the most part, in a general term, if I met somebody that went through times in her life, like the female version of Wilt Chamberlain, for example, then
that's exactly the thing.
But obviously, I would have questions. But what I'm trying to say is, it's not the end all be all for me.
Okay,
that makes sense.
Oh, okay.
I think for me, it's about inconsistency. So, like I said, the guy I'm with right now, he was my first body, but up until then, I'd meet a lot of guys who would fetishize that I'm a virgin. I think it's.
All right.
Okay. And for me, if a guy has a super high body count, but they want a girl who's a virgin or has a low body count, for me, that's a bigger red flag than just a guy who has a high body count.
Sure. Tim?
Wait, why is that a red flag? Why do I want to be with a girl that's a...
Because I think
that's a red flag.
I think I think a valid reason for wanting someone with a low body count is pair bonding, and that applies for both sexes. So if both of them have a higher body count or one of them does, that's gonna disaffect pair bonding. So I would say that guy doesn't have a valid reason.
That's the dumbest fucking thing I
Yeah, that is retarded.
I don't have to believe in it, but I'm just saying if that's his belief, like he's a Christian or he's religious, and so he also keeps a low body count, then for me that's a more valid request or standard.
I am so fucking glad I don't live in your guys' universe. My wife and I have known each other for over 20 years, and this never was a thing.
Tim, you don't watch any porn.
How long have you been and your wife been together for?
We've known each other about 20 years. We dated around the time we first met. And then we had kind of like a millennial on-off thing for the whole time. And then
this is it's even a weird concept, I think, because for me, like, who gives a fuck? I'm almost 40 years old. You know what I mean? I'm a high value woman, Myron. But it doesn't.
Are you married?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I'm married. No, you guys are all fucking.
No.
Shut up, dude.
No.
You're fucking.
No.
Shut up.
No. You're.
No one's. Shut up, dude.
A 40-year-old fat woman is saying she's high value. That's crazy.
Right.
That's crazy.
Oh, you know what?
40 years old and fat too. Holy.
I don't listen to the way that Muslims think about anything. So shut up.
You need the guidance.
No, I think you need the guidance.
You need to stop eating pigs.
I'm on her side.
You clearly eat too much ham.
Wait. Was there
way too much ham?
Question for me or something?
A question? No.
No, you're saying no. But we were talking about.
I would not be with a girl if she's banging. If it's more than 2 hands.
All right, let me take this. Let me.
Seriously, I mean, yeah.
More than 2 bodies is no good for you?
No, more than 10. Like, there's no way.
This is a personal thing with each guy, right? So they all have their number and that's fine. But what I will say is that most guys are going to have problems with women that have a very promiscuous past. That's just the reality. It's a biological reality.
No, it's not.
So
what about men? How about women that have a problem with men? It could go both ways, can't it?
No, it's not. And
well,
here's
they don't because we asked them to, and they said that it was uncapped, right? So
some women don't want to be with men that are
double standard, though, where a guy that has a lot of sex is valuable and a woman that has a lot of sex.
Here's the thing.
Well, that's called
a man. The analogy is, a key that opens many locks is a master key versus a lock that opens any key is a shitty fucking lock.
Yeah.
But but the reality is that if a man has a lot of sexual partners, he's doing something right because it's not easy for men to get sexual access. But if a woman has, hold on, let me finish. But if a woman has a lot of sexual partners, she's definitely doing something wrong because the reality is men must create their value to get sexual access versus women need to preserve their value because as soon as they turn 18, they can get any guy that they want. So if they go ahead and gamble it away and spend their, youth and time being it's going to hurt them later on. That's literally the basis as to why we were talking about before her OnlyFans shit is going to fuck her up. Despite the fact that she's saying I'm a virgin or whatever, the fact that she does sex work in general does inherently lower her value because men look for purity. It's one of the most important things we look for when looking for a mate.
Yeah,
now, if you guys don't want to understand biology, that's the reality. Yeah. Yes, it's because
there are rich, ugly guys.
And the reason why you just mentioned a child, that's the primary reason. We must ensure paternity. And before the advent of paternity tests, we had to kind of take the woman's word. So the reason why guys have a vested interest in a woman not being a is because if she's not a whore, we know the child's ours.
Yeah, but girls can say the same thing in reverse, where they don't want a guy with a lot of sexual partners because that's going to divert his resources away from hers. You can make the Evo Psych argument in reverse. And
Oh, because
was your boyfriend a virgin?
His sexual history. I'm not going to talk about his sexual history, but I will say prior to
He's
him,
fucked a lot of chicks, hasn't he?
all my exes before him were Christian conservatives. They all kept low body counts. A lot of them were also valuing waiting till marriage.
Okay, here's
so I
the
will say that. So
Here's-
I'm just saying
this
it's
is-
fine
this is
to
the
have that
ridiculousness of
standard,
female thought.
but I'm just saying if
It
you're
is a
gonna
double
say-
standard. That's the way it should be.
I'm saying
Men
girls
live life
don't
on hard
actually
mode.
want
Women live life on
promiscuous
easy
guys.
mode.
Girls
This
just
is why.
okay. Can I finish?
Women literally
Girls
live life
don't
on
want
easy
guys.
mode when it comes to sexual access. I find it interesting that you mentioned, "Oh, I was a virgin." Why did you lead with that? Because you understand that your value as a partner is intrinsically tied to your body count.
Yeah.
That's why you mentioned it.
No, because you brought up my boyfriend being a cuck, and I'm saying the definition of a cuck is someone who watches their girlfriend get fucked by other men. So I'm saying by your definition, he's obviously not a cuck if he's on my card, you dumbass. That's not why I led with it.
Hold on, woman. Hold on.
Women do often care about a guy's promiscuity. Women do care about guys' promiscuity. They suck it up most of the time.
Here's
Because
the
the reason I said you can make the Evo
Your body
argument in both
count,
ways.
your body count mattered way more to him than his body count matters to you. Because men understand, women understand, hey, guys are going to have a body count. It is what it is. If anything, men with higher body counts tend to be attractive because they have social proof, they demonstrate higher value, and they're able to be attractive to other women. Versus on your totem pole, you care more about his status, how he looks, what he does. He's caring about, okay, is this chick a virgin? You literally said, I gave him my virginity. What the fuck does that imply?
It's funny because outside this red pill world, most guys find it like they find it weird if a girl at my age is a virgin. Like I lost it at 26. Outside of the red pill,
between like virgin and like 50 plus bodies that a lot of like men.
I guess my point is like most guys I speak to
They'll find it weird, but they
it's
won't.
not about virginity.
They'll
In
find
terms
it
of
weird, but they're
chastity,
not
it's
going
about
to leave
not
the
wanting to
girl for
just
it.
get pressured into sexual experiences just because society says you have to, just because they're like, oh well, you're an OnlyFans, so you might as well let it go. I don't subscribe to that. I can do it if I want to.
Is there an amount of money you could make that would retire you from your sex work?
If so, I've already made it. So no, I'm going to keep going.
Question, sir. I'm sorry. What was your name again?
Alad.
Would you rather be Alad?
Shout out to the boys.
Did you say Benjamin Netanyahu? I didn't hear what you just said.
Alad Eliyahu.
Would you rather be with a woman who treats you like shit, who doesn't do anything for you, who's terrible in bed, but has only been with 1 or 2 men in her life? Or would you rather be with someone who's been with 1,000 men, but treats you fantastic, respects you, doesn't cheat on you, and is a loving person? Or would you rather have?
You know,
answer that question.
A loving person. That's not even a good comparison.
I would say neither. I'd say neither.
Okay, so you can't choose between the two? You're telling me you'd rather have somebody that treats you like shit, maybe, than someone who slept
So let me take this. See, here's the thing. I would take the girl that's 1 or 2 bodies, and I'll tell you why.
That treats you like crap.
Well, here's the thing. As a man, your job, let me explain. As a man, your job is to turn your woman into basically your follower. She's your assistant. Your job is to make her be useful to you. You're going to come in and train her. And before you say,
misogyny.
So let me ask, it's misogyny?
Yeah.
Okay. So explain
It
to
is.
me, why do women want a guy that's taller, makes more money?
Not every woman
status,
wants that.
Dominant,
No,
assertive?
and in fact, a lot of them don't.
The majority of women, overwhelmingly look for status.
They want a short, broke guy. That's what they look for in a man.
The majority of women.
Myron, you're tall, you're single.
Hold on. The overwhelming majority of women wants a guy that's taller, stronger,
You don't
more
speak for
competent,
women, dude.
and is a leader. That's the truth. It's biology.
Fact. We're not
That's a
debating
fucking
that.
fact.
No, it's really
It's a
not.
fact. It's a literal fact.
Every woman has
It's not
different.
right for you because you're fat and old now. But the reality is, you don't have the same ability to command a higher status guy. That's why you gotta call yourself a high value woman.
I'm legit.
So,
To be fair,
a high value woman is a woman that can get a high value guy to lock her in and take his last name.
Right.
So ridiculous.
Women get their
guys don't
value
really believe
from the
this
man
shit,
that they're
do you?
with. Men get their value based on what they provide to society. We are not the same, okay?
Right.
Men are evaluated completely differently than women are.
Ladies and
Don't
gentlemen,
be
this is why
faggots over
Myron is
here
so popular
trying to
on
take
social
the line.
media. He
Yes,
says the
because
most
that's not the
ridiculous.
truth.
No,
This
you
is
don't.
fine.
No, you don't.
Elizabeth, real quick.
recorded.
Elizabeth, where's Elizabeth? Is Elizabeth here?
Misogynist.
Give it up for a lot. Everybody give it up for a lot. Go, we got a big misogynist.
That's
White House supporter.
Hold on.
Yeah.
There's a reason. Hold on 1 second. Hold on.
You stop listening
There's
to
a
fucking Muslim
reason.
ideologies.
Hold
That's
on,
exactly where you're
There's a
Elizabeth,
reason.
Mr. Sharia law over here.
Sharia law is exactly what it is, dude. Women only want
you need a
guys
diet
with
law.
money. Oh,
Anyway,
shut up,
there's
dude.
a fucking
You're
reason.
fucking hairpiece,
There's a
dude.
fucking reason guys like me and
Oh, right.
etc.
Yeah, right.
Because we're saying what all men are thinking.
Oh, right.
We don't want fat, annoying,
Yeah.
crass
Right.
women like
From the
this.
single guy.
Fucking trying to tell us what it is.
Right.
We know what we're attracted to, and these on the left try to tell you guys,
Right.
no, you should want a woman that's
Hey, listen to him.
Never said that. Never said that. Never said that. Never said that.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on everything that you learned from the whole Charlie Kirk thing? Like, what did it reveal to you?
Democrats won is dead. Like they
watching that response was crazy.
Yeah. You saw them dancing on TikTok and celebrating it, right? Like, and here's the other thing too, like the other important thing to take away from that, they had the audacity to do that. If you're a professional and you have a job and you're a nurse, a police officer, something like that, and you have the audacity to dance from someone being assassinated like that on TikTok, it proves what me and you were discussing before. Progressives never get censored. Right. That's why they had the gall to do that in the first place. During the Biden administration, I remember conservatives were scared to say there's two genders, let alone fucking dance to someone's death. Right. So what I've realized is like these radical leftists want us dead. Yeah. And political violence on the left is very real. People have been denying it for a long time, but the left is far more violent than the right. When Charlie Kirk died, were we rioting all across America? No. When George Floyd died, were they rioting all across America? Absolutely. There were quiet and respectful vigils for Charlie. When George Floyd died, they burned the city down. Yeah. Right? These immigration raids, these leftists are taking to the streets and attacking cops and going nuts. So the left is always fundamentally more violent than the right. And I'll tell you why. It's in the word progressive. For them to progress with their leftist ideology and go more left, they use violence to turn the narrative. That's what they have to do. So that's where we are now, where these progressives literally want us dead. And they would smile at any of us getting killed or shot. And it's just crazy. And I'm glad that Trump finally designated Antifa as a terrorist organization. Yeah. I've been saying this for 5 years now, that Antifa needs to be designated as a terrorist organization. And I'm glad that he finally did it. BLM should too.
Yeah. You know what's crazy is as a Christian watching it, I saw the responses after from a lot of Christians. And, for me, I'm just like, bro, this is like the worst thing ever. This is terrible, for anybody to be assassinated. Right. And then I saw,
especially in that manner.
Right. And then I saw so many Christians like, well, dude, that guy was a racist. That guy's a bigot. That guy's doing this. And I was like, what? Well, I saw this 20-second clip. You can't tell me he's not. I'm like, are you really that dumb?
Yeah.
That you can't watch a full clip.
Yeah. And get everything.
You're so easily like manipulated.
Yeah, they're stupid. And like the other thing too, let's assume he is a racist, right? Does that still like condone him being violently assassinated?
Right.
Like shot in the fucking neck, bleeding out in front of his family? Like, do you like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like having a political opinion or a take on something is one thing. Shooting and killing someone in cold blood is another thing. Like you're fucking stupid. Like no one deserves to die for any opinion, no matter how controversial it is.
Yeah. He's not in a war. He's not in any of this. Like he's just out there talking to people.
And this is just, and this is how I could tell someone is low IQ. Like when they're so fixated on a political ideology that they're willing, like they're happy when someone of an opposing side, like something bad happens to them. Like, yes, you deserve to die, blah, blah. Like, I don't like Israel, but I know people that are Zionists that I get along with. Yeah. Even though we disagree on that topic, we can be adults and have a discussion on it.
Yeah.
Me and Brandon Tatum had a debate on it. Me and Destiny had a debate on it. A conservative and a progressive, they're both Zionists, but I'm like, I don't agree. And we had a discussion. And I think we just need more of that maturity where you can go and sit down and talk to someone despite, disagreements. I mean, me and you have disagreed on dating and how to deal with the new normal females.
It's totally fine.
And that's what mature people do. But like, we've just gotten to this thing where it's like, no, like you can't even have a discussion with them. They need to die. Like that's what the left is. Like they do this on purpose. They call us Nazis, racists, bigots, etc., so that they can dehumanize us. So it's easier for us to be killed by them. They do that on purpose. It's a methodology so that they can go ahead and justify their violence against us.